Hello everyone, this is Mohammed from Python Ninja YouTube channel, and in this tutorial we will learn together class inheritance in object-oriented programming. Class inheritance is considered one of the most important topics in object-oriented programming in Python. In class inheritance, we inherit some attributes and methods from one class to another class, and inheritance itself is a mechanism by which one class inherits or take the attribute or method from another class. The newly created class is called child class, and the class that we inherited the attributes and method from is called parent class. So let's create a class now. We have class Amazon, and we call it Amazon software, and I will place nothing inside it, and I will create another class, this class, I will term it as, for example, web development, and I will also insert nothing, and I will create another class now, and this will call data science, and I will also place nothing, Now, the idea behind the class inheritance is to take the attributes and methods from the Amazon software class and inherit them inside the other class like web and data science class. And the inheritance itself can be implemented by opening parentheses, and in this form, it looks like function definition. However, here we use class statement, and in function definition we use diff. And this way we open parentheses and we insert the name of the class that we want to inherit. For example, I want to insert Amazon software. Now all attributes and methods are inherited inside the web development class, and I can follow the same procedure to inherit all attributes and methods from Amazon class into data science class by just giving the name inside the parentheses, and in this way we did the inheritance. There are two different approaches to implement the inheritance. The first approach is called multi-level approach, in which we have different classes, and this is stacked on top of each other, and we inherit the attributes and methods from one to another, then to the another. It's like a chain. So if we want to apply the multi-level inheritance here, I inherited the Amazon attributes and method inside this class. However, no attributes and methods so far, but we later can add the attributes and methods. But just to give you a conceptualization about how we can design the inheritance. Now, for the multi-level inheritance, we follow this structure. We inherited Amazon inside the web development, and the web development will be inherited inside the data science class. So by this route, we go from Amazon. We inherited Amazon inside web, and we inherited web inside data science. This is called multi-level inheritance. But there is also another inheritance which is called multiple inheritance. So we must distinguish between multi-level, at which we go from one class to another class. It's like a chain. And each class inherits the one like the top class that placed on. But we have also multiple class in which we will, for example, highlight this by adding a new class. For example, if I have a class, in which the attributes and methods like create business, for example, in intelligence, if we have some department that make that conduct the business inheritance, and let's just make both classes, web and data science, inherited directly from Amazon, now the multiple inheritance in which we can inherit, okay, the attribute from multiple classes. For example, I want to inherit it from Amazon and I want to inherit it from data sciences. Business intelligence department is associated also with data science. Okay. Now look at this form. This is the multiple inheritance in which we inherited Amazon software, all attributes and methods from this class. Okay. And plus to this, we inherited also the attributes that are located inside data science. Now, by default, this data science class will inherit all attributes and methods that will be inserted here. Okay, but it could contain different attributes and different methods. Okay, so this method and attribute can be extended here and not accessed by Amazon, since these are attributes related to data science only. So we give another inheritance to this business intelligence. Okay, and now remember, if we do inheritance like this, okay, two different classes inherited from one parent class. So this is the parent, and all of these are child class. Okay, and this could be this is a parent class to business class, business intelligence class. But remember, these web development and data science classes, okay, could contain their own attributes and method and cannot be accessed, okay, by any of them unless we do inheritance, okay, from one of these. Okay, that's it for like a general introduction about the inheritance. So remember that we have multi-level inheritance from which we can inherit like attributes and methods from one class to another, and then we go from the another class to another new one class, or multiple inheritance like follow this form. Now let us speak about attribute inheritance. For example, I will add here some attributes, okay, inside the Amazon software department, and I will start by using one of the special method, which is it. Go back to special method to know more about this, okay, and I will like place name and age, and these are mandatory attributes that will be inserted when I create the instance. Then I want to store, okay, the name inside the name, and I want to store the value of age inside self.age. Okay, so this is very, very basic, simple class. Okay, and the inheritance is exists, meaning that these attributes, because there is inheritance in this class, from this class, the attributes are located even here. However, you will not see these attributes, but by this structure, by this inheritance, there is copy from this attribute is located here, and this attribute is and these attributes are located here. Okay, let us prove that. For example, if I want to create an instance from the web development class, so I have like web dev, okay, one. This will be an instance from the web development. If you will not follow me in this instance, this inheritance, then by default, okay, we have the class is called web development, but I cannot see any attribute underneath. So I will not place any attribute here. But if I run this code, then I will have a problem, which is type error, and in which we missed, okay, two positional arguments, which are the name and age. However, you see no attribute here, but the attributes are connected to this attribute. So there is a copy, or there is a clone, okay, of these attributes that is located inside this development, and this is created as long as you do the inheritance like this. So here there is inheritance, and you will have this error if you will not insert these attributes. So if you create an instance from the web development, you have to place the name. Unless you remove this inheritance, then you will have no error. But because you did the inheritance, you have to place all, or you have to submit all attributes, okay, that is defined inside the constructor. Okay, so again, if I remove this constructor, okay, and I will have, for example, just variable like age, okay, equal 30, and name equal, for example, Ali, okay, and this should be when this, so this should be the same indent here space and the same. Then we will have no problem because there are no attributes under the constructor which is in it, okay, and these are attributes belong to the class attribute itself. And now as we learn together, we can access the class attribute from, okay, let us do print. We can access then a class attribute from the instance attribute. Go back to know what I mean about the class attribute, and now we are able to access this name, okay, without placing it here, okay, because what I will place here or what I will submit here are the attributes that located was inside the constructor which is in it in this case, okay. So remember that if you see in it, you have to place all attributes here as long as you create the instance. For example, I have Ali, and I have, or you create the inheritance, and I have here the 30, and now I can, for example, print the web development or web dot name, and I can print Ali, and I can here print, for example, age if I want to print age, and I print this. If I can do the same here in the data science, I have, for example, just let it in here like or the data one. Okay, I can access the attribute which follow the same inheritance. So remember, in the inheritance, in the class inheritance, if you have attributes within the constructor in it, then you have to submit this attribute and when you create the instance. That's all about the attribute inheritance, okay? And now let us create also a method here just to have a wider look about the attribute inheritance and the method inheritance. So if I will define a function under the Amazon software, and this function, it will be like very naive function. This like I feel the person who work with this should be able to write code. It will just give me it will return like f string, and in this f string it will show that the name, okay, I will submit is able to write code. Okay, now I have a class inheritance from Amazon in both classes, web development and data science, meaning that all attributes and all methods can be inherited, okay, and all a class attribute, the attributes that I can look here, okay, I can put here, or the class method, the method that instead of using CL self, it can create, can be started with CLS. All are inserted inside the web development and data science, meaning that as we access the attribute age here, I can also access the write code here. So I can, for example, I want to print the data one, which is the instance from the data science here, dot write code. However, write code is not inserted here, okay, but it's inserted under the parent class, and all attributes and methods in the parent class are inherited inside the child class without inserting them, okay. So now Ali is able to write code, okay. If I will have an instance from the web development, for example, WD, okay, and I will have, for example, Tomira, okay, just to make some changes, okay. This is a WebD and this is like web development. I can run this now. Mira is able to run code, and we have the instance from the web development now. And this is everything about attribute and method inheritance. This is very easy. We introduce together what do we mean of a class inheritance, in which we inherit one class to another class. The class that is inherited is called parent class, and the class that contains the parent class is called the child class. Okay, remember that all attributes and methods from the parent class are inserted, okay, or inherited, like this one, okay, from Amazon, are inherited inside web development and data science without explicitly mention them. Okay, here you can access them and you can modify them from outside. Okay, when I mean about modify them, I can make like this with web development.name. Okay, for example, .name equal, for example, Mohammed. Okay, and this can be done without any problem. Okay, and now Mohammed is able to write code. Okay, and yeah, that's for all topics about the class inheritance. In the next tutorial, we will learn together what do we mean about the class attribute override. A class attribute override is a methodology in which we can extend the attributes from the parent class into a child class. For example, if I will have inside the right code, okay, sorry, if I will have inside the web development another attribute, for example, platform, if it's Django, if it's like other, if it's Java or whatever, okay, then we will use attribute override, and that's for today's tutorial. Thank you.